Well, hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are
Even
you
though
doing?
I'm doing good, even though it's the Monday morning motivation intro, but we've been kind of doing things differently for a little while,
Yep.
talking to all the candidates for council and the mayor. So we'll just
Yeah,
go with the flow.
we didn't have an intro for this, so this is what it is.
We just use our
but
morning.
so tonight is the last night of our series of getting to know your candidates, and
Mhm.
I hope that everybody has learned a lot about everyone running for council as well as for mayor. Last night was quite the
Interesting.
experience. We had lots of fun. Um, but anyway, so we hope that this has helped you make your decision. And tonight we have three more with us. We have Fred Ngounjo, we have Cory Dixon, and Jerry Sampson. So welcome to the live stream, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Good evening. Bonsoir.
Good evening.
Jerry, are you?
We're
Is your
hearing
sound there?
something.
Yeah, no, I think Corey is a father, and I
I
think
think
his
so.
little one is in the back.
She's not. She's not cooperating. Just give me one moment.
That's fine. The beauty of the live streams. That's what happens.
Exactly.
So, Miley, I'm gonna let you ask
Opening question.
our opening questions. Yes.
All right. So you're all applying for a job, and the job is City of Cornwall Councillor. So, can you tell us briefly a little bit about yourselves and your qualifications, so to speak, for the job? So, let's start with Fred.
Thank you very much for this question. Bonsoir. Merci pour la question. So I am Fred Ngounjo. Je suis Fred Ngounjo. I am chemical biotechnological engineer. I work for the federal government. I am dealing every day to find new solution against environment problem that we're facing. So that is my day-to-day job. At the same time, I'm the president of Saint Marie Association, which is specialized in organizing event here in Cornwall to bring community together. I am a proud father of two kids. So, Cory, I know what you're dealing with. So, and I'm married with Josiane, my wife. And yes, I'm very, very involved, and I would like to give back what I have received from our community and from our country. That's why I want to apply and to get the job.
Perfect. So, Jerry, we'll have you next.
Oh, he's
Oh, wait, he
disappeared.
disappeared.
Jerry has disappeared. So I guess we'll go with Corey.
Perfect. Thanks.
Oh, Cory, I've got to
Oh,
say thank you so much for that hint. I can see my eyes. Thank you for
no
the
problem at all. My
thank you.
face was really white, and I'm like, oh, I got to turn this down a little bit. So I figured I'd share the tip.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So my name's Cory Dixon, obviously. Born and raised in Cornwall. I'm 41. Married, father of five. So starting from 21 is my oldest, down to 2.5 years old.
Wow.
So I stay pretty busy. I've been in the heavy duty truck industry for 20 years in typically management roles for the last 15. I've been service manager, parts manager, general manager. They're multi-million dollar businesses, so I think uh, I have experience at looking at budgets and making sure that we're profitable, that we're able to meet our goals, our objectives. I have training in everything from those operational sections as well as leadership training that I think will help me along the way working with the other council members. Um, I think for me, I grew up in this city. I come from poverty, and I think I've evolved from that. I've had a very interesting life, to say the least. And I just think for me, I'm watching the city get better, but I'm also watching the city struggle. And I started getting more involved and reaching out to council, reaching out to the mayor, having varied success with, who will listen and who will engage. And then I said, you know what, I think it's time. Like, you can either complain about something or you can step forward and try to make it better, right? I think we've done a lot, but I think I can really help bring us that much farther.
Thank you. And Jerry's back, so
I disappeared for a while.
yeah. So
My
tell
son
us
shut off. Go
tell
ahead.
us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, well, I'm one of four boys, the oldest of four boys, born to Helen Elizabeth Sampson and former councillor Jerry Sampson, who was councillor for 13 years. I'm a former member of council in 2012 when I replaced Mayor O'Shaughnessy when he resigned for 3 years. And I started Big Brothers in 1973 with Angelo Towndale, Kenny Slider, and Ray Jodway. I was a big brother to two boys for 15 years. And then I became a member of the Children's Treatment Center after Big Brothers. And I was on the board of directors of Big Brother. I've been involved with my community as a hockey coach, hockey referee, 25 years, and been involved with my community all my life. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And
Oh, Claude is here.
Good day.
hi, how are you
Claude.
doing tonight?
Busy.
All right, Miley, I'll let you repeat the question for Mr. Poirier since he just joined us.
Yeah, so basically you're all applying for a job, and it's the job with the title of City of Cornwall Councillor. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your qualifications for the job, so to speak.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Cornwall. I've been involved in the community since a very early age with a number of community organizations. Obviously, one of them is the Knights of Columbus. It's where my second home, if you wish. I've also served. I did serve in the past 5 terms on municipal council. In the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So I do have a lot of experience, obviously. I've been at the table, I've made the arguments, and I think that I have obviously the life experience and the experience of having been there to contribute and make a difference at the table.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we're going to start with some of the questions that we've asked pretty much every person running for council when they came to our live. We asked a set of questions. So as well as the questions from the public. But right now, I'm going to start with do you think that our main street, our downtown, is healthy and successful? And we have 2 downtown cores in Cornwall. We're uniquely positioned. We have Le Village, and then we have our downtown core. Do you think that they are successful? And if not, what would you do to change that? So we'll start with Fred.
Thank you very much for this question. I'm going to start by Le Village. I am pretty convinced that the village need to be rebuilt. I'm going to say that because there are a lot of houses that need to be maintained. There are a lot of problems there, and people are struggling every day. So I think first, as councillor, we need to work to change the face of the village, because at the same time, it's a very special place for the community, for Cornwall. Le village has a deep story, that we need to show up and to share with the rest of our visitors. So I think Le Village is a place which should be uh, um, rebuilt, but at the same time valorized because it can be a source of many people coming here in Cornwall to visit. So at the same time, right now it looks like a problem, but it's a solution to that we can uh, use for the city. Um the other part of the city, I'm going to speak about the Pitt Street. I think I see a lot of very good businesses growing up there. This part is pretty good, which need just to keep doing what is doing now, has been done now. It's a very nice place. I see a lot of development and a lot of businesses too. So things need to be done still, but I think the priority is Le Village first for me.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Cory.
Uh, may I add something else
Oh,
quickly?
sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I think one of the solutions for Le Village can be attracting companies there, or maybe banks, one or two banks in Le Village. I think it's gonna um, boost activities there because these places need to be reboosted. And if I am councillor, I'm gonna bring this idea around the table. What about bringing a branch of bank inside the village? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Cory.
So I'm sure some people may be aware that I attended a meeting downtown with local business owners, and it's kind of started off this Permit Me campaign. There's been, again, I don't want it to be all negative. I think we've done some good things well. I do have my own personal experiences with the city, as the wife and I do own a commercial property downtown. And we've been delayed ourselves for 3 months waiting on permits. And honestly, we went ahead anyways. We had no choice. I mean, my wife and I, we've shared some successes together. We've established a certain amount of financial freedom, but when we did that, we put everything on the line. So we were stuck in a situation where, we had people reliant on us for their jobs to feed their families, and then ourselves who had, borrowed all of this money and have to make these payments, and we're waiting on the city to approve a permit. And I'm like, okay, we'll be patient. It was 3 months. Like I got to a point, like we just said no, like we'd go bankrupt. We would have lost everything, our home, and the mental stress that causes on relationships, on families. So I look at what's happening now, and I can personally relate to that. I know that pain. And ourselves, we're about to reinvest again a substantial amount, renovating that building again to access part of it that's been closed since the fire. So, it's a substantial investment, and it's frightening, to speak frankly. So I share that fear with some of these people that are trying to get permits, that are trying to grow the city, that are trying to put, affordable housing or just additional housing, other business owners that can't open. So we do have a lot to kind of focus on. So I think everybody knows where I stand on that. I think we do need to, my experience with that permit department is they do need customer service training. They do need to understand the culture down there has to change, that, we need to be easy to do business with. We need to understand that the people coming in there and spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or more in permits are customers. Essentially, they're, and not only customers, but people that are actually adding value to the city and helping us grow and become more prosperous, which we definitely need. We and people, it's a little bit subjective. I've tried to do some research on that. Cornwall isn't really easy to find. If you go on the internet and Google tax rates, Ontario tax rates, highest to lowest, Cornwall's not listed. But yet, if you go and play around with the numbers, you'll see that we're about 1.67% residential tax rate is what I have. So, if you can prove me wrong, go absolutely ahead. I would, I tried to search. I tried to do my homework on that because it bugged me. We pay a lot. So that puts us, based on the data I could find, the second highest tax rate in Ontario, behind Windsor and just ahead of Thunder Bay. So I'm like, you wonder why we're not growing. You wonder why people are moving away. So we do need to look at it. We do need to, again.
Cory, I'm gonna I'm gonna cut you off because I need to move to the next person. I'm gonna ask you gentlemen to try to be as brief as you can and to the point to
Yeah,
the
sorry.
question. Mr. Poirier.
Yes, indeed. Well, there are two downtowns. There's obviously Pitt Street and Le Village. Of the two, Le Village is in need of tender loving care. There are a number of vacant stores, a lot of vacant stores. Most of the Fred was alluding to the banks, but there was a time when there were two banks on Montreal Road and La Caisse Populaire, and La Caisse Populaire moved to Pitt Street to consolidate their activities as did other banking institutions. But there are programs available to revamp some of those buildings. There are funds available through the municipality from the sale of the Cornwall Square property, something that I had championed when I was on council. The funds there permit some renovations at low interest loans and the but it doesn't cover obviously all of the costs when you're like Cory and you're spending a substantial amount of money developing your business. You need support from the municipality, and the permit section is obviously a problem area right now, and the new council will have to truly address that. But there are opportunities, and it's a matter of working with the business community, both in the village and on Pitt Street, to grow their businesses. And how do you do that? You do that by sitting at the table with them, first of all, hearing their concerns, seeing what can be done, and what tools or assistance the municipality can bring to the table. It's not going to be easy when I look at the village area. But Pitt Street is certainly at this time more promising, but it takes a lot of work, and it will take a lot of time, and it will take at one point some money.
Okay, thank you. And Jerry.
Good, thank you. The downtown is in dire need. What I say is the parking meters. I was downtown. We went into a restaurant the other day. We had to walk a block to find a parking meter. And when we finally got there, the parking meter wouldn't work. Imagine people in wheelchairs, senior citizens going down a whole block just to go in a restaurant to pay the parking meters. I say it's time for free parking downtown like there is in Brockville and Prescott, and that'll help alleviate. In Le Village, we're in dire need of new diversified stores like they do have in Brockville. Once we get that, get rid of the meters and attract the people down there, it'll help. We need a diversification, and that's up to our economic development to bring that in. As a former property appraiser for the province, I worked with Chris Rogers, the head of the building permit department before, and I lended him a hand, and we succeeded. Now we are 70 permits behind. That's unbelievable. It's slowing business up. It doesn't speak well for Cornwall, and we have to work on the permits. The banks were mentioned, like Claude said. We had the Bank of Montreal, we had the Caisse Populaire. They moved to the central region because there wasn't enough traffic. So we need more diversified stores, get rid of the parking meters, and that'll enhance somewhat. the downtown core, the way it's developed, there's no room for parking either. So we have to maybe change the allotment like it used to be and come up with better parking. People in Toronto walk 3 miles. In Cornwall, they won't walk half a block. They go to the shopping centers. So we have to rearrange the downtown infrastructure. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. So we're gonna start taking some questions from the public. So,
All
Miley?
right. So here we start. Excuse me for stealing a question that was asked to the mayoral candidates. Do you think it's more important to attract new residents to Cornwall or to retain Cornwall's current residents? So let's start that one with Cory. We'll go the opposite way.
Okay, sorry, and I'll try to keep it brief.
Briefly.
I think it's equally as important. I think any solution has to be looked at from multiple angles. It has multiple answers to it. We need to train to retain our current residents. We need to attract more residents to be able to attract additional businesses that open up, job opportunities, greater entertainment, just more stores. You hear a lot of people say that. I'm tired of seeing all the dollar stores. We need the growth. So it is very important to bring the growth in to be able to attract more people. And then with that, you'll see, obviously more jobs as people are coming in and popping up. If we make doing business easy, you'll see more businesses, small businesses and large businesses coming here if we address the tax issue. So I think it's equally as important. Any solution has to be looked at from a very wide view.
Thank you. Claude.
Well, I think it's equally important to retain both your residents and to bring in newcomers. And to bring in newcomers, you also have to have opportunities for employment. You need opportunities to lodge those individuals or those families, and you need to do a lot of soul searching as to how you can improve your housing situation and how you can foster a climate that will entice potential businesses and employers to come to the municipality. So it's a combination of both. You can't work only for one. You have to work for both of them. My daughter just moved back to Cornwall in January. She's presently living in my basement, or she has a room upstairs as well. But their apartment is in the basement because they can't find affordable housing right now. But they came back to Cornwall because an opportunity presented itself, an employment opportunity in both cases, both for her and her spouse. So there is work to be done to deal with the housing situation, foster the climate that will entice people to come. And when they hear stories on CTV News about building permits, that's not the good thing you want outsiders to hear who are prospectively looking at Cornwall. So we have a lot of work to do, but I think it can be done.
Thank you. Jerry.
Okay, yes, I believe in the old days we needed a university. We still require a university. Once our daughters get married and leave, our sons leave, they meet a girl out of town, then they get married, they don't return. We need to work on our university level. We also have to retain our population. We could do that by low affordable housing, senior housing, and we have to work on the housing issue to attract these people. I believe a bigger population will entitle us to more grants from the province. So it's very important to retain these people, to have jobs available. And the biggest priority, thank God my son has a duplex. Otherwise, I don't know how he could afford to buy a home. Homes have gone up 3 times in the last 3 years. And it's unbelievable how young people. So we have to work on the rental industry. We have to look at the low end income and senior housing to keep them in their own homes. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fred.
Thank you very much for this question. That is one of the, I think it is one of the most important question that we should face as counselors. Um, I think both should be done, retaining and attracting a resident in Cornwall. But for that, we need to have facilities that are going to uh, maintain those people here in Cornwall. Housing is something that it's a huge problem, but at the same time, we need good jobs in Cornwall. So I think we should work on a minimum salary that people should have. That is going to be attractive. But I stand for a university. That is very, very important because when you have kids, when they grow up, at one level they have to move because they want to go to university at Montreal, Kingston, or I don't know, Toronto. We need to keep those young people here in Cornwall. It's very, very important for our community. If we want to hit the 50,000 residents that we have, that we need, I think a high school or a university, it's a key, a very important key that we should build house a solution for our community. Um, Housing is very important. University, at my point of view, is very important too. And with those, I think we can attract and at the same time keep residents here in Cornwall. Both are connected. We cannot do one without other. Both are very connected to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right, this is a comment on something Corey just said, and as well as a question, and I'm going to open it up to everybody as well. So you can talk about lowering tax rates all you want, but if you are to do this, what services will we be losing as a result? So, do you think there's a possibility to freeze the taxes, but not lose any services? Let's start with Claude. Shake it up a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
First of all, I wouldn't make a comment on freezing taxes at all. I mean, it's until you get the full financial picture of where we stand, where we're going. I mean, there are mandated services that we have to deliver, and those are costly, and there are services that really are the will of council. I would not support freezing our taxes at this point without getting a clear picture of what our financial position is. There has been assessment growth and there has been assessment losses over the years. There are some major facilities in this or industries in Cornwall that were very successful at lowering their assessment. And when you lose that assessment, you lose the revenue. When you lose the revenue, you have to make it up somewhere. I mean, so unless one gets a full picture of the city's financial position, I sure cannot commit myself to freezing our taxes, and I think it would be irresponsible to do so unless you have a clear picture of where we are. What is the actual revenue growth? And what are the potential liabilities that are outstanding? Are there any other assessment appeals that we could get hit with? When the Walmarts of the world appeal their assessment, and you know, it always irritated me that a large industry would set up shop in Cornwall. 5 years after they've constructed their building, they would appeal their taxes, and lo and behold, they would win. And yet the building was built to meet their specific needs.
Mhm.
And how could the assessment value of that building had gone down? So I mean, there are issues out there, and we have to address them. But we also have to be cognizant of the full financial picture of the municipality before engaging in any talk of cutting services. I mean, a lot of the services we deliver are needed.
Okay. Thank
Thank you.
you. Corey.
Okay, so I brought up taxes and I wasn't very clear. So it's not about cutting taxes. It's quite the opposite. Well, not the opposite. Taxes are going to continue to grow. That's just inflation. Things go up. But what is happening, and what I was trying to address, is the city's not growing, and we're adding more and more services. We're spending and spending. So when that's happening, the taxes, we have to pay for that, right? The city doesn't grow, but we spend more. We need to find ways to increase revenue. So no, I'm not saying we're cutting taxes, but we do need to be fiscally responsible. We do need to control our spending and base additional spending on actual growth. We need to find additional revenue streams. Again, it's multifaceted. I think we're going to be surprised. MPAC's going to do another assessment again. We're all going to be looking at this tax rate that we have now based on a $400,000 home that used to be worth $250,000 or $300,000. So, the city council is going to have some hard things to figure out to make sure that we have a sustainable tax program in place. And I don't believe we currently do. I'm not saying cut it, but I'm saying find growth, find opportunities, watch our spending, just like we do at home. It's just common sense. I don't go out for supper if my bank account's near the red. I have to watch my spending, and it sucks. We all like to go out. We all like to splurge. But the reality is we have to be smart about it. And that's what I was trying to get across.
Perfect. Thank you. Fred, I'll go to you.
Thank you very much. Um, I stand with Claude. I think before doing anything about taxes, we need to have the whole map. We cannot stand for cutting taxes when we don't know what is going on inside the budget and all those stuff. So the most important thing I think is to manage our finances with efficiency. That is the key, to be very, very efficient on the management of money that we have. And once every dollar is going to be used for what it should be used for the well-being of our residents, then we can be sure that we're making the right thing. So about taxes, I think another solution that we have or we can have should be to try to be more attractive for enterprise and companies. And we should face this avenue because with more companies in our community, we're gonna have more workers, more position, but those companies are gonna pay taxes too, and it's gonna increase our incomes as a community. So that is one way that we can work on to give good position to our resident, and at the same time to make to decrease the pressure around or at the level of the taxes. My keyword is manage our finances efficiently. That is the key.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. And Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to have a balanced budget. Um, this year, I was surprised when the administration came in with the budget and they presented it and was accepted. We always spent, I know when I was on council, we always spent 2 to 3 months getting rid of the waste, looking what we need. It's up to the people's needs. Depending on our infrastructure, our roads, our highways, we had to check that out first. With DevCore, the development is coming in. That's new assessment. Assessment times the mill rate is your tax rate. With DevCore coming in and more companies like that, it will add. If I drive around the city, which I've been doing, I see all types of new construction. We used to call that a Section 43 assessment when I was a property appraiser, and all that income should be put in a pot to be used for our tax revenue. We should not go higher than what we can because it won't attract new industry to locate if our mill rate is too high. So we have to keep an eye on our land development charges, our income that's coming in, and we have to generate the types of revenue that we could use. Like DevCore is going to bring a NAV Canada. I guess there's going to be somewhere to 50 to 100 lots developed behind NAV Canada. Even talk of a new marina. I know I have coffee with my friends at the old marina. and people are walking by on the bike path. They're coming in left and right from Quebec and all over. But they stopped by in Alaska, 3 or 4 seniors sitting by the river looking over the arena to have our coffee since COVID. Where can we go to have a bite to eat? There's no restaurant on the waterfront. There used to be. There should be one where the old police club was. It's a beautiful sight that would attract all these people coming. The cyclists are coming from Quebec, Kingston, all over. They love our bike trail. So I think we have to bring in that type of revenue that is going to be helpful for all the people and lower our taxes. I only support raising taxes to the bare minimum. That's what
Okay,
I believe in.
perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. What will they do to further improve equity, diversity, and inclusion in Cornwall? Somebody's asking. So we'll start with Fred.
Thank you very much. What will they do? I mean, the council.
The
Yeah, you
counselors, yeah.
guys. Yeah.
You
Yes.
guys.
I think it's very important to have a council which represent the population. We should. I think we are on the good way. We still have a lot to do, but we are on the good way to improve diversity. I think we should speak to or explain to people that uh, we have more position. We need to be representative. It's very important because I think right now one of the problems that the former council are facing is that there is a gap between the council and the population. So we need to bring them together. And when people meet or see that council is looks like the population, then they can feel more confident with the decision that are taken. So I think there is a way to about sensibilization, speaking to people, meeting people. That is very very important. Meeting people door to door, knocking the door, speaking to people. That is the thing that is gonna bring more interest and that are gonna give more opportunity to the minorities that are not yet around the table or in the other position in the administration. So it is very important as community to break down all those gaps and to be the leaders because Cornwall can be the leaders and that's what we're talking about. Cornwall can be the leader about showing that diversity is something realistic here in our community and we are doing what we have to do. It's true that we still have a lot to do, but we are in a good way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Jerry next.
Okay, thank you. I believe we're sitting on all types of assets like our waterfront. What are we doing about it? We have to concentrate on our waterfront. We have to develop it. We have to make it friendly. We have to find some way of making an outside pool for the people that can afford to go inside swimming. We have to provide all types of development on a waterfront. We have to keep Luce Lamrou Park. We have to keep that alive, or Ed Lumley Park alive. There should be all types of festivity going on all summer. We have to continue this diversification by providing new insights. We have a splash pad for the kids. We have to get more things for the children, and we have to diversify our interests and not just looking for business. We lost the Canadian Tire. Why did it go to Valleyfield? We have to work on big industries coming in that are, that are suited for our needs, and we have to bring them in.
But
We're,
Mr. Sanson, I think the question is more about diversity of people, the equity, like for things being fair for everyone.
they are
So
coming in. People are thank you. The people are coming in from Van Kill, from Hawkesbury, from all over. But it's a senior population. 50% of our population, I'd say right now, are seniors. And by attracting a new industry, that will or a new university, that'll help people come in and it'll keep people in Cornwall.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Claude.
Well, the richness of any community is its diversity. For years, Cornwall in the '60s and so forth was looked upon as an example of how two linguistic communities, the English and the French, could work together and make Canada work and make Cornwall work. The new reality is that there are a lot of Canadians who are not of those from those two people. There are a lot of new Canadians that come from not European stock. They come from different parts of the world, and we have to, if we are to grow as a community, we have to make them feel welcome. There are groups, there are boards that the city does control as and nominate people to serve on community groups, and we have to be reflective of that diversity when we make those appointments. We also have to speak to those new Canadians in many cases, or new groups that were not here 30 years ago. There's a large Pakistani community. There is a large Haitian community that's coming into Cornwall. There's a Sri Lankan community. These are all new groups. So we need to make them feel welcome, but we also have to work with them. What are their needs? What are the issues that affect them? How can we be of assistance to them as members of council? I think that discussion must be held. It's been held to some extent, but there is always room for improvement. And by doing that, by making them feel welcome, by having boards that are reflective of the community, and seeking and assisting some of those groups as well, this community will grow and will bring new arrivals to Cornwall. And we need new people. If we're to grow industries and so forth, you don't grow it with the same population. You have to have new people. Toronto is not the large metropolitan area it is today because it adopted the status quo. It welcomed new arrivals, new Canadians to their community, and we have to do likewise.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Cory.
And Cory.
I think inclusion, we have to do a better job of engaging, and I think our community as a whole, sometimes people don't reach out. They don't know where to go to. A big thing I see in the city is that the city itself doesn't provide a whole lot of information, for you to find the answers. So we need to be part of that solution. I think council does need to, proactively, whether that's through social media, the news, the paper, wherever, encourage people to come forward and speak and get their perspective. As Claude was saying, I agree with that. We do need to have and encourage more boards, give them opportunities to meet with council and discuss their issues and their concerns. I think we've done amazing things in the city, even from when I was a child to now. I think our growth that we have seen, the amount of diversion that we have seen, is a testament to the success that we've had. And I do believe we can keep that going and moving forward.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. The question to all: what are you planning to do to help homeless in Cornwall? So we'll start with Cory on this one.
Oh, sorry. So from my perspective on that, I do believe we need a homeless shelter, and I will play devil's advocate. because again, at the end of the day, I'm not doing this to play politician. I, genuinely want to make a difference, and people will agree and disagree. The reality to that, though, that we need to be aware of, is the expense to the city, and it's not something that, again, as I said earlier, there's no one answer to a problem. We need to be looking at homeless from the front. We need to be proactive. Why are they homeless? What can we do? Affordable housing, it's education, it's mental health, it's addiction. Those things need to be looked at. I've talked and suggested that mental health, homeless, and addiction could be in one center. It could be a triage system where you do come in, we acknowledge what the problem is, we address the addiction, we address the mental health, and we help our citizens through the whole process, including education, including training, including trying to find them, affordable homing, and a decent paying job so that they can reintegrate in society. But the reality of that is we all know that comes at an incredible cost. And that's something that I think the community should have a voice to. We're in this together. It's great if I want to do it, or Claude wants to do it, or I won't speak for anyone, but if we as individuals want this, we have to, and for it to be successful, we have to do it as a team. We really do, the community as well as council. So yes, I do think we need one, but it extends much more than just putting a homeless shelter in the city.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's go with Fred next.
Thank you very much. It's true that first we have to find the source of this problem, homeless. It's a matter of poverty, healthcare, all those what Cory just spoke about. And we have to find solutions. I think trying to put all those people inside a building, it's not a way to solve this problem. It's just a way to move it to a place to somewhere. We need to face the reality to try to solve what are the cause of this situation that we are facing. And as council, it is something that we should have every day. That is the first thing that we should check. Why people are homeless? Why is the source of poverty? How can we solve that? Is it a matter of mental care? We have to solve that, or to try to sit with all those partners and to find solution about those kind of problems. Because I think it's a having this kind of situation in our community shows that or demonstrate that we have people that are suffering, and we cannot afford that. We cannot afford that. We have to stand against poverty, against those kind of problems. But at the same time, it it is very important to share that or to say that a lot of things has have been done. For example, there is a poverty reduction plan development that was bring on the table by the Social Development Council. I stand for this kind of program. It is very efficient. Um, as councillor, I'm going to try to see how can I make this program more efficient, more powerful to solve this problem of homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jerry.
Okay, just a month ago, I seen a lady at the Civic Complex after I had my coffee with the seniors sleeping in a van. She had been there for 4 months. I called the hospital. I tried to help her out. There's no more emergency services available. I called the Bowen House. They wouldn't accept her unless she was abused. I said, oh my God, this is ridiculous. We have to provide more entities for these homeless people. We have to bring them in. It's going to cost money, but we have our service club councils. They should be able to help out. It's unbelievable. And I believe that when a school becomes vacant or a public building is turned over to the city, that we should use that to give it to the developer and have him build low-income housing for these type of people. I was in Miami in a place, and they had low-income housing living together. They had middle income, and they had senior or affordable housing for richer people living there. And they amalgamated together, and it really helped the low income out by the others keeping an eye on them and providing for them. We need this type of diffusion in our city to help these people out. It's unbelievable how sad they are when they have nowhere to turn. We need our social development committee. We have to form one with the city to take care of these emergency situations. And by providing that low income housing, that'll help out. Thank you.
Thank you. And Claude.
There is a problem. I mean, it wasn't a problem that was evident that many years ago. I mean, you heard about somebody sleeping under the walkway at the Civic Complex, but you didn't see them. And now you're seeing them. My daughter was out last night and says, I saw someone sleeping on a bench in front of City Hall. I mean, the issue is out there. How extensive it is, perhaps it needs some study, but it will need some financial assistance. These things do not come cheap. If we build a homeless a shelter of any type, they do not come without funds. While there may be some programs provincially that we could access, there has to be and will have to be an investment from the municipality. But we also have to work with all the partners, all the community groups, with the health unit, with those groups associated with mental health, to see what we can do and come to a solution. But it will take a significant investment from the municipality to make it happen. But we cannot not make it happen, because there is a problem out there, and the less we do, the more it will grow. You know, when you're traveling down the 401 and you see encampments on near Brockville, well, those encampments exist in our municipality near the canal lands at some points or sometimes of the year. So there is a problem. It's a multifaceted problem. It could be drug related. It could be a mental health issue. It could be affordability issues. So there's lots of work to be done for the incoming council, working with all these groups.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, thoughts on reducing the number of council seats in Cornwall? Do we have any thoughts on that? Let's start with Cory.
Okay, my apologies for the baby in the background. I do think that we can reduce the number of seats on council. I think that we have to be cautious, because we do want diversity on council. We want a bigger perspective, but I do think that we could accomplish that still with 8 seats. I think that's a reasonable number.
Okay, let's go to Claude next.
I was on council when we went from 12 to 10. And the problem always when you reduce the size of council is the availability of the members of council to perform, not so much as perform, or do their work and their share, and be represented on the numerous bodies and boards that the members of council sit on. I'm not supportive of reducing the members of council at this time. I mean, the reality is that there are different people that come to the table, and some members of council will be 100% in, and unfortunately, there will be some who will not be in for various reasons and so forth. But I think if we are to have a council that's reflective of the municipality, the number that we have now is not it's not a full-time position. You're not paid as a full-time position. you're contributing what you can to the municipality. Uh, Reducing the number of council will not save by any means any significant sum of money. If you look at the overall budget, the council itself is a very small portion of that, a very, very small portion of that budget. And if you reduce the size of council, I think you will reduce the opportunities for diversity of that council and different views, because you don't want 8 people or 6 people sitting at a council table all coming with the same perspective. When you have different people from different working realities or life experiences, you bring a richness to the debate around the council table, and hopefully that results in good decisions of your council.
Thank you. Jerry.
I agree with Claude. My dad was on council with Ed Lumley and Parisian and a few others, and the council dropped from 12 to 10 after that. What they did, they doubled the raise from 10,000 when Dad was there, and I was there, up to 20,000 now. I was busy when I was on the housing committee. I was on various other committees. We were getting calls. I remember the nicest thing, and one reason why I'm running for council was a lady up on Pitt Street North whose house was full of mold. And she called me and said, Councillor Sampson, I understand you're on the housing committee. I have emphysema. I can't breathe. We've had the bylaw officer here and there, and nothing's being done. Can you help me out? 2 weeks later, she was moved. She woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, I'll never forget you. God bless you. You're in my prayers all the time. We are busy. Council is very, very busy with all the different committees you sit on. I know I sat with Eric Duncan on the joint committees for Long Sioux, and we built a fire department. The ambulance. A new ambulance department. We met down at the county's building with the joint forces, and we built a new ambulance service there. Different committees have keep you busy. You have no time to spare. I know I was busy. I got a lot of phone calls, and I was very busy. So I don't agree with reducing council if you're doing your work. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fred.
Thank you very much. My point of view is reducing council will make it more efficient. I think so. From 11 to 9, it could be more efficient having a council at 9. I'm not. It's true that it's going to be less expensive for the community, but I think my point, the key is a council at 11. Is it more efficient than a council at 9? I think that 9 is better because you can follow the project. You can do what you have to do. You can check what is going on the team. So I think, my point of view, 9 is better than 11 council. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it is 7:59. Time flies when you're having fun. It's already done. We had a few more questions, but I'm gonna shut down the chat for now. I want to thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to come and chat with us and get our viewers to know you a little better. This has been a really cool experience for me and my lease to have most of you come in and chat with us. So we appreciate your collaboration. My French is speaking out again.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Go.
Yes.
Quick
Wrap
question.
it up.
Starting with Fred. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
So simple. Chocolate, chocolate.
Yes.
Simple. Chocolate. Every time.
And
And it's
Cory,
good for health.
Yes.
what's your favorite flavor?
I used to be chocolate, but I don't know with age. Now it's vanilla. I like just vanilla ice cream.
Wow. And Claude?
Orange.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Only available in Quebec.
Wow. And Jerry, what's yours?
Raspberry.
Oh.
Love raspberry. Thank you.
Awesome.
Perfect. We thought we'd end with an easy
What an
question.
easy, yeah,
Merci. Thank you
easy,
for the
light
opportunity.
question.
We
Well,
never
thank you for
forget.
coming, and best of luck to you all on the 24th. And we'll see you at the after show.
Merci
Yeah.
Thank you
bien.
very
God
much.
Bonjour.
bless. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good
Salut.
Thanks,
evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
everybody.
this opportunity.
Have a
Yeah.
good night.
Bye
Have a
bye.
Thank
good
you.
night. Take care, guys.
Good night. Salut,
Thanks.
All right. Who am I missing here? And Claude. All right.
Ah, I thought we'd just
Well,
end
I
with
had a few.
something light.
Yes, that was a good idea. I had a few more questions. Somebody was asking what neighborhood they were living in, and somebody else was asking what do they think the waterfront would be looking like over the next 4 years. But yeah, sadly, there was not enough time today.
And again, it's different questions than what's being asked in the debate. So
Yeah,
it's really nice. It's
yeah,
interesting.
it
And
is.
I find we've really gotten to know the councillors and the mayoral candidates quite well.
Yep, I find that too. So, anyways, thank you everybody for being with us throughout all these live casts that we've done. We hope that it's helped you make a decision, and doesn't matter who you vote for, just go vote.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. So we'll see you soon. You can watch us on Monday Morning Motivation. We'll be back on next Monday at 10 a.m.
Okay. Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.